Be prepared. Sometimes, we had too many X's and O's. Movement, this and that. So we're just going to work on developing a real good swing, being a little bit more mental, tougher, and taking those at bats personally. And I think sometimes, we make an out and we just kind of accept it. That's not going to be good enough. If you're an offensive player, you don't want to leave runners out there on the bases at all. And that's my whole thing. We're not going to leave runners out there. We're going to work as hard as we can to get that guy in.
Well, Fran, it sounds, listening to Don there, like he's going to take a less technical approach and more mental approach.
Yeah, he's a very serious individual. And, we mentioned Denny Walling. Denny Walling was a good major league player and has had success as a hitting instructor. Unfortunately, the Mets weren't able to deliver this year. The Mets were forced to make a move.
And that's the ultimate answer.
That's it.
Players didn't deliver. And
that's right.
Matsui takes a strike. The other thing, Jim Duquette mentioned this tonight before the game in praising Denny Walling. So Denny Walling took the news today in a very, very classy and stylish manner.
I'm not surprised.
Not surprised at all. Exactly. A terrific guy. But he said Jim Duquette's feeling was that the message that the hitters get may not be all that much different, but the style would be. And anybody who spends any time around Don Baylor understands that statement.
Well, Don Baylor, as I know, I played against him in the minor leagues and the major leagues. He was tough.
That's pulled foul.
Don Baylor, no-nonsense manager when he managed in a few places in the major leagues. There was one story about Don Baylor as a manager. As you take a look at that line drive that was just fouled, Don talked to a player who had an earring in his ear during the game, and he brought him in his office and talked to him and said, look at tomorrow. He said, when you show up, make sure the earring is gone or the ear.
I like that. Kaz Matsui checks, and it's 2-2.
We had Don as a guest on the Mets Inside Pitch recently, and he talked eloquently about, when you're in the major leagues, you're going to dress as a major league player. You get on a plane, you're going to be dressed in a certain way, and he wasn't going to accept substandard.
Get out to left center by Matsui. And the catch made. Coco Crisp puts it away, one down. To take a look at the rest of the Met batting order behind Matsui, it's Zeal and Piazza with the outstanding home batting average. Cliff Floyd cleanup. Then Wigginton, Kareem Garcia, Mike Cameron 7th, and Vance Wilson bats 8th.
Eddie Murray, one of the coaches with the Cleveland Indians, spent some time with the New York Mets, and one of the greatest switch hitters of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's only 4 men. Palmeiro hasn't gotten there yet, right? 3,000 hits and 500 homers.
He's at 3,000, isn't he?
Palmeiro,
I believe he is.
3,000 hits.
Could be wrong.
All right.
Let's ask the guy that knows everything.
We're scurrying to the book.
Bill Webb.
Well, anyway, Eddie Murray, 3,000 hits, 500 homers. That's an exclusive club. As we look at Jason Davis, who is a 24-year-old, 6'6" right-hander from Tennessee. He's got terrific hard stuff, and that's what makes the numbers hard to figure. 13 starts this year, only 1 win. Gives up a lot of hits.
Oh, he had that at 92 miles an hour. He's great built for a pitcher. No matter how hard you throw it, if you don't get some movement on the pitch, if you don't have good location, major league hitters will do some damage.
Zeal to center field. Crisp comes in, plays it on a bounce. So it is a hit.
Well, defensively, behind the big fella, for the Indians, you got Hefner, Belliard, Vizquel, and Blake in the infield. Lawton, Crisp, and Garrett left to right in the outfield. Martinez behind the plate, 25 years old, 5 errors. Mentioned how he played 49 ball games when he was 24 years old for the Indians and had a solid start. And he's hoping to duplicate what this guy has done in his career. And they will celebrate on Friday night here at Shea Stadium.
So there's a strike to Piazza.
Hyundai keys to the game. Offense, offense, and offense. Runners got to get them on for Piazza. 1 on right now, and Steve Traxler will have to rebound, and that's our Hyundai keys to the game. The keys to the game are brought to you by Hyundai.
Well, that's ripped into center field. And Piazza with a solid single. And now Zeal's going to try for third, and he'll get there as Crisp did not field the ball crisply.
It took a bad hop. Ordinarily, when it takes a bad hop on an infielder, you give him a base hit. And this is a single. I guess they're going to give him you move the third on an error, but watch this. This is a good swinger. Panasonic digital replay, and it comes up on Crisp, a bad hop. So how do you score that?
Yeah, you're right. That is a tough hop.
You say an error or a bad hop on the center fielder? Scored an error. If that was hit to the shortstop and Mike Piazza reached first base, you know what they'd say? Base hit, bad hop. But in this case, it's an error on Crisp.
It allowed Zeal to go to third. Now Cliff Floyd hits first and third, 1 out. So right away, this change of hitting coaches for the Mets and the hope for improvement in these situations is put to the test. And this right here has been the situation that has absolutely, I think even more than the bases loaded, this has crushed the Mets offensively. It's right here. Man on third, less than 2 outs. Mets have been very poor in this department.
And right there, Cliff Floyd taking that wild swing and swinging through the fastball. So it's 1-1 as Ty Wigginton waits on deck.
As a team, the Mets just 42% in this category that you want to be at 60, and Floyd delivers. So right away, better sign for the Mets. Cliff Floyd delivers, 23rd RBI, Mets up 1-0.
Oh, Cliff Floyd right here gets a pitch to hit. It's down, it's in his wheelhouse, and Floyd throws the head of the bat at the ball, hits it in a hole between first and second. And the Mets pick up a run here in the first inning.
So first and second, there's a base hit for Wigginton to left. Piazza had to freeze. There was a shot that Casey Blake, the third baseman, could catch that line drive. So he'll get to third, and now, you know, there's a good swing by Wigginton.
Wigginton stings his ball in left field, driving in a run. And then you watch Mike Piazza move over to third base.
The 4 straight singles for the Mets, and they've all been hit hard.
Bases are loaded now for the Mets as Wigginton, he smoked out. Wigginton, since coming back from Florida after rehabbing down there in Port St. Lucie, has been really smoking the baseball.
Carl Willis, the pitching coach for Cleveland there. Don Baylor.
Watch this quick stroke. Everything's quick. Short, quick. And look at the offensive stats coming into tonight's action. 102 with bases, .102 with the bases loaded.
And that gets put to the test. So, I mean, here in the very first inning, the things the Mets pointed out today themselves about this change come to play. Hitters with runners in scoring position, now bases loaded for Kareem Garcia. Point this out with the qualifier that nobody on the Mets has done well with the bases loaded. Kareem Garcia, a run producer, hope for just 1 for 7. That is a foul ball. And it's 1-1.
You know, something like this that happens to a ball club, after a period of time, the hitters will talk about it.
Yes.
They will lament the fact. Now, up until you have a large body of work where you have struggled or have been successful, there's not much chatter about it. But once you're in the throes of a major problem with the bases loaded, then there's discussion, and sometimes it can act in a negative way.
Sure it does. Well, it takes on a life of its own. And in New York, more than a number like that will have its own life. 1 ball, 1 strike. Indians play Garcia to pull. And Davis busts one in. It's 1-2. Davis throws hard. He's got a sinking fastball, a splitter.
That's a splitter.
That's a splitter he just showed there, and a little bit of a slider. He doesn't really have yet a good off-speed pitch.
You'd be foolish to throw anything hard here because Garcia's a good fastball hitter. He needs a ground ball with the bases loaded, and if he has confidence in his splitter, he should stay with it. Why mess around? He's way up in the count, 1-2. New batting instructor, Don Baylor, looking on. This is an opportunity right here for the Mets to break it open. also to at least start thinking about a new lease on life with the bases loaded if Garcia can hit here.
You got it right there. High fastball strikes him out.
So threw that heater right by him. That was 95 miles an hour according to the scoreboard here at Shea Stadium. And you can see Garcia pulling off that fastball that was out over the plate. So the struggles continue so far with Karim Garcia striking out. Now it's up to Mike Cameron.
And here's the Met who hopes right now that he can really turn things around. Because no Met has struggled more with the bases loaded this year than Cameron. 0 for 7, 5 strikeouts. Now, Cameron had a couple of good games in Kansas City, and he's hopeful that he can carry that into this homestand. Out of the way, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cameron, when he hurt his hand here at Shea early May, his batting average was .253, so he's lost 50 points since then. Fastball runs in 2-1.
And when you get down in this area, even though he had to fight that hand injury, when you're at 201, you know it, you look at it, you dream about it, and it just sticks with you, and it's a battle the rest of the year to get your average up, which is probably the most overrated statistic of the 3 glamour stats.
Fastball, boy, he's coming off fastballs here, 2-2.
Don Baylor talking to Karim Garcia after Garcia chases the fastball and had a big swing and missed it.
Let's see if Davis and Martinez, the catcher, combined to throw a split here. They're throwing all fastballs. It's 2-2. All fastball there, drilled into right center field. That's a base hit. Piazza scores, Floyd scores, and Cameron breaks the drought. A 2-run, bases loaded single, and the Mets have a 3-0 lead.
So the ball is down. It has a major portion of the plate, and Cameron, who's been prone to the strikeout for a long period of time throughout his career, pops the ball into the gap in right center field, and he picks himself up a base hit, and it's going to make him feel good. And the Mets and Don Baylor.
Well, funny thing, before the game tonight, one thing that Don Baylor said to me, which I must have heard Denny Walling say 20 times this year, was pitch selection. And Denny Walling talking this all the time, he thought the Met hitters really suffered in crucial situations this year with pitch selection.
Now, that pitch selection right there was one pitch too late. He threw a splitter.
Right.
He threw a fastball to Cameron.
That's exactly where I was going, was now in that situation, Cameron benefited from, I think, the fact that he got 5 straight fastballs. I mean, it's as if Cleveland just said, you can throw the ball by him. And that must be what their scouting report was.
Well,
to pitch him that way.
From watching Mike Cameron, when he strikes out, most of the time you see guys that strike out a lot, they have trouble with the off speed, the breaking ball.